Right now on the National Weather Desk, here comes the rain. While the Pacific Northwest needs the rain, it comes with many concerns.
What's being done to keep all of this damaged and burned vegetation from washing right back over that highway?
Winter forecasts what another year of La Nina could mean for temperatures, precipitation, and drought.
The weather is once again causing problems when it comes to harvest.
An Indiana farmer talks about how this year's weather impacted his crop and why forecasting snow totals days before a storm is so difficult.
I like to compare winter weather forecasting to playing Lingo on The Price is Right.
A Maine brewery has the most unusual use for a massive one-ton pumpkin.
Not necessarily a standard operating procedure for fermenting beer inside a giant pumpkin.
And football forecasts, find out how the weather could impact this weekend's big college and NFL games.
From our nation's capital, this is the National Weather Desk.
Good morning and welcome to the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Relief finally arrives in the Pacific Northwest, and that is today's big weather story. Rain will start falling in Washington State and Oregon today. The region not only has been warmer than usual, but the air quality has been among the worst in the world. And that is because of all of those wildfires that are burning in the region. The rain will help clean the air, making it easier to breathe and be outside. But all of that rain is raising concerns. There are fears of possible mudslides and backed up storm drains. We have all the angles covered in Seattle, starting with reporter Paul Rivera.
All eyes yet again are on Highway 2. From Superintendent Destry Jones of the Skykomish School District.
That road, when it rains, there is a possibility that we're going to have trees coming down and falling mudslides.
To Mayor Henry Sladak.
That's probably going to be a continuing problem.
Residents, they're glad the rain is coming to help with the smoke, but also aware that because of it, serious issues might happen.
I mean, it would take probably 5 hours to go around the mountain past Leavenworth, maybe 3 hours, yeah.
They're getting ready to switch students to remote learning if needed. So you've heard the residents' concerns. Now they want to know what's being done to keep all of this damaged and burned vegetation from washing right back over that highway.
We've removed about 500 trees along this stretch of highway, but we can't see what's happening beneath the ground. So you could have a tree that's roots have been burned, for example, and it's just below the ground, so we can't see it.
WashDOT spokesperson R.B. McKeon said, like today, they'll continue to watch the road, but they want residents to get ready now.
Go to the grocery store over the next couple of days, stop and pick up that prescription, extra, dog food if they need it, and then just be ready to be home for the weekend.
In case you don't remember, let me take you back to September of last year when the rain came down hard and fast. It disturbed a lot of oil and grime on our roadways, contributing to dozens of crashes in just a single day. It also caused some street flooding, something that may be preventable with a little extra prep work. This is why everyone, homeowners and renters alike, are asked to go outside. Check the storm drains in your neighborhood.
Well, I don't mind doing it. It's good exercise, fresh air, It's better than being at the gym.
The system is going to help clear the air in Oregon. Josh Cozart is in Eugene to explain how it works.
It's smoky in the northwest, but rain will help save the day. It helps wet a dry landscape, and it's able to wash out our skies. Raindrops help grab the smoke particulates and bring them back to the ground, finally clearing our skies.
Well, are you ready for scenes like this? Based on NOAA's winter weather outlook, you may not see as much snow this year as usual. Yeah, the outlook for your winter months, December, January, and February, is heavily influenced by La Nina, which is expected to stick around for the third consecutive winter. So what does that mean? Well, let's start with temperatures. NOAA is forecasting most of the nation will have a warmer than average winter from New England down the East Coast and across the Pacific. Elsewhere, everyone else there should be normal. As for precipitation, the Pacific Northwest, as well as much of the Great Lakes region, should expect a wetter than average winter. The brown areas are expected to be drier, which is bad news for the drought-plagued Southwest because it really does need the rain. And that brings us to the drought forecast, which really isn't good news for the areas in brown. The drought will either worsen or continue. Yellow means it will develop. The best news up there in the Pacific Northwest, where the drought is expected to improve or even end. Well, harvest is underway across many parts of the nation, but for many farmers, this has been a challenging season because of the weather. Meteorologist Lynette Grant caught up with one farmer near South Bend, Indiana, to see how the weather is impacting his yield.
Back in May, David Schrock had to wait to put seed into the ground because of weather. Fast forward 5 months and the weather is once again causing problems when it comes to harvest. This year has been a hectic one for farmers. Planting was delayed because it was too wet. And once the seed went into the ground, it got dry fast. It also got hot, which is tough on corn. Things leveled out eventually. And then September brought cooler weather, which delays the harvest.
We normally start harvest about September 15th to the 20th. This year we did not start till I think it was the 4th of October.
David Schrock is part of a family of farmers. This year's crop has been respectable despite the lack of cooperation from Mother Nature.
But overall the crop is good, very good. It's going to be above average. So yep. Every field that we've harvested so far is above our 5-year average.
Schrock only saw a few flurries this week on his farm outside of Bremen. The rest of the moisture was rain. 20 minutes to the east, however, more snow fell. That will delay harvesting a little bit, or even worse, kill some of the crop if the snow weighs too heavy on it.
They won't stand back up because for all practical purposes, those plants are now dead. They're senesced and they're done.
Schrock says this year is not a do or die year. He's had some bumps in the road, but overall, he's quite happy with this year's harvest.
Active map that tracks West Coast wildfires in real time, and that seems pretty cool. It's also a potential lifesaver. Let's go to Seattle, where Holly Menino has more.
To help with quick decision-making, faster evacuations, and more resources, the Western Fire Chiefs Association rolled out the second phase of their fire map.
They want to know, where is the fire? They want to know how big the fire is, and they want to know where the fire is going. If you can answer all three of those questions, you've provided a lot of relief for many, many people.
The map, first released in July, tracks fires in near real time. Click on that red dot and you'll see basic information about a fire, including acreage, location, and current status. It's a map not just designed for the fire service, but also the public. The map downloads quick and works on mobile devices.
In the heat of battle, we don't need something more technical. We need simple. We need easy.
The second phase includes real-time flight mapping of firefighting aircraft and 3D views. Look at the Bolt Creek fire burning along Highway 2 in the Cascades. The map now shows the area's cliffs and valleys.
The hope is that people will go to the map. They'll see it. They go, wow, that fire's closer than I thought. Let's load up the family, let's load up our thing, and let's go.
It gives people an idea of where the fire edge is and where the flames are headed.
I've been a firefighter for 45 years. I've seen it time and time again that people believe that they can stay home and protect their homes and at the last minute figure out that they can't.
The hope is that ultimately this map will help save lives.
Totally, and I could even see that being used with drought information to also detect where those fires may be heading, and of course wind information too. If you'd like to see more of the Chiefs Fire Map and learn more about how to use it, head on over to our Facebook page at the National Weather Desk, where we've got that link to the site. Well, take a look at this, guys. A photographer captured the spooky sight in the sky that we just had to share with you. Do you see it? Take a look. Okay, so we switched it here so that it's black and white. Hopefully you now see the witch in the clouds. This photo was actually taken back in 2013. Meteorologist Ed Petrowski, he shares it every year around Halloween on his social media accounts. So be sure to give him a follow to see more of those photos. Well, all right. Coming up on the National Weather Desk, there's a lot of weather information that can be found online. But did you know that not all forecasts are created equal? We'll tell you how to spot an inaccurate weather forecast online. And you've probably heard the term wind chill, but what exactly is it? We break down this commonly used term. And let's pause for your weather wit. What is the most abundant gas in the atmosphere? Think about it. The answer right after this.
I'm meteorologist Charlie Lopresti with a look at the Northeast. We have another beautiful looking day in the Northeast today with unlimited sunshine. Temperatures are going to be back in the upper 50s to near 60. Saturday looks similar. Notice the lack of clouds. It's going to be a beautiful day. A cool start, though. The difference on Saturday, it's going to be warmer. Check out these temperatures in the Northeast. 60s to near 70s should do it. By Sunday, some of these clouds are starting to move in from south to north, and that wet weather moves in late Sunday and into Sunday night.
I'm meteorologist Jasmine Lomax with a look at the mid-Atlantic region. The day starts with nice and dry weather and few clouds. We'll stay nice and sunny as we head into the afternoon and temperatures gradually begin to rise. Then overnight we remain clear as we move into Saturday. It looks pretty quiet for the first half of the weekend, but there will be the chance for a few showers by Sunday. Today's temperatures will rise to the 50s and 60s, which is a little bit warmer. Then overnight it gets cold with temperatures falling to the 30s and 40s.
I'm meteorologist Vitas Reed. Here's a look at your southeast highs for the day. It looks like we're going to see comfortable fall-like temperatures from the Carolinas in the upper 60s, low 70s. Atlanta about 69 degrees, 76 in Nashville, about 80 in Tupelo, a little warmer there. And then heading down to Florida, looking at warm temperatures as well. We're going to see high pressure keep us nice, dry, and clear for the southeast. But down in Florida, maybe a 30% chance for a stray shower in the afternoon. But all in all, it's looking like a beautiful weekend headed our way.
Wit here. Before the break, we asked, what is the most abundant gas in the Earth's atmosphere? The answer, nitrogen. Actually, by a whole lot. It's even used to make some cars go fast. Now let's check to see the weather in cities across the country. We start in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, where, look at that, it's a beautiful day. Sunshine, high temperature will be just under 60 degrees. Next up, a look at Blairsville, Pennsylvania. Mostly sunny conditions with some sporadic clouds this afternoon and a high temperature of 64 degrees. And if you're looking to hit the links this weekend in Blairsville, it's sunshine all weekend long with highs in the 70s. And we'll head now to Danville, Virginia, where, look at that, more of the sunshine. Beautiful across a good chunk of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. Highs today, mid-60s. And lastly, we head up to Troy, New York, where, yeah, we've got another bridge and another city with sunshine. Highs in the low 60s for today from Troy. Well, snow forecasts are easy to find, but what about snow forecasts from a reputable source? That can be a bit tougher. Emily Gracie spoke to Lindsay Storrs at our Salt Lake City station about how to tell if that snow map that you see floating around on social media is legit. Lindsay says the biggest red flag is when someone shares snow totals more than a week before the event.
Computer models that we look at when we're determining the forecast, they get very inaccurate that many days out. If you're talking 2-3 days out, there's much more accuracy in that than there is in something that is 7 to 10 days out. Also, another way that you can determine if what you're looking at is legitimate or not is to look and see if there's a little blue check mark next to the account you're looking at. Many of your reputable meteorologists will have that blue check mark from Twitter and Facebook to let you know that it is a legitimate source that you can pay attention to. Legitimate meteorologists are not going to post things like snow totals for a storm 10 days out because we know how inaccurate the computer models can be and the data can be on storms that far out.
What are some realistic expectations that folks should have from a snow forecast?
It is very hard to predict the exact snow total that you are going to get at your house. So meteorologists generally give ranges. It'll be like 3 to 6 inches of snow. Now that means you could be anywhere in that. You could get 3 inches exactly. You may even get a little less than 3 inches, or you could get 6.1. It's really just a generalization to let you know, give you an idea of what to expect as far as snow totals, but they are definitely not exact. I like to compare winter weather forecasting to playing Plinko on The Price is Right. If you watch a Price is Right contestant, they've got that Plinko chip at the top. There's lots of different areas where that chip could go. But as the Plinko chip drops and as you get closer to the bottom of the Plinko board, there's fewer and fewer solutions as to where that little Plinko chip could go. The same is true with winter weather forecasting. When we're 10 days out, there's a lot of different options on how that storm could play out. Each day as we get closer to that storm, we're able to narrow down how much snow we're going to get, the exact track it's going to take, and we'll have a much better idea of how it's going to play out for your part of the country.
Bottom line, it's important to keep checking back in with your local meteorologist because we will always be updating that forecast as the event gets closer. Well, many places across the country recently dealt with a cold snap, and things are going to be getting colder in the coming weeks. One thing that we often hear about is wind chill. We had a viewer ask us, what exactly is wind chill? So let's head over to meteorologist Andrew Buck-Michael in Columbus, Ohio, to break it down.
Well, we're now getting a taste of winter, which means we got to talk about something that we don't want to talk about, but a good reminder for us. Not snow, not flurries, wind chill.
Whew. All right, let's get into it here. So our bodies give off heat. We all know that. 98.6 degrees is our body temperature. And if you're in 20 degrees outside, there's no wind, you can keep a little warm bubble of air around you. So it's still going to feel like 20 degrees, still going to feel cold. But let's say you got a 20-mile-per-hour wind. That's going to take that warmth from your body and carry it away from you, making it feel colder to your exposed skin. So at 20 miles per hour, 20 degrees, it's going to feel like 4 degrees outside. And the stronger the wind and the colder the temperatures, it's going to exponentially feel even colder. So let's break it down here. The stronger the wind, the colder the temperatures. Again, it's going to exponentially feel colder with that wind chill. So it all factors down to the frostbite time. The stronger the wind, the colder the temperatures, you're going to get frostbite in a shorter period of time for exposed skin. And that's what it's all about. It's about safety being outside in these cold temperatures.
One other thing to keep in mind is that pets are also affected by those strong winds during the cooler months. So they have a fur coat, we can wear coats, but that strong wind will pull away the warmth from their body just like us. So keep the pets also in mind during these cooler months ahead.
Well, a few weeks ago, we brought you the story of the award-winning pumpkin grown by Maine meteorologist Charlie Lopresti. Now that 2,080-pound pumpkin has turned into the world's largest beer fermenter. Portland photojournalist Mike Hartford was there as brew masters and Charlie got to work.
Charlie came down this morning and we worked together to cut a hole in the top. Charlie brought his fillet knife, but it wasn't quite long enough to get all the way through. So the Sawzall did the job finishing off the cut. Once we got the top off, he dived right in there, feet hanging out of the pumpkin, just collecting all the seeds that he could. Oh yeah. We're basically transferring beer from the boil kettle through the heat exchanger into our fermenter here, the pumpkin. Once we fill this thing, we will then pitch yeast into it, which will then ferment this beautiful wort into our pumpkin beer. Our hopes is that it will ferment out in a week or so, and we can then transfer it to kegs, and then we'll carbonate it up, and hopefully we will have it on tap sometime in December, I would imagine.
Very cool. We're lucky to be able to do this, and to see what the outcome is going to be unique and exciting for sure. We're pumped for it, yeah.
Well, the snow that fell in the Midwest this week led to a very unusual sight: skiing and snowboarding in October in Minnesota. You probably don't think of Minnesota for an early ski date, but Wild Mountain, just 40 miles northwest of Minneapolis, was open for business. And yeah, they were even making snow. This ski window isn't likely to last very long, but skiers are certainly taking advantage of it. And take a look at this great shot of geese heading south. Geese, they start preparing midsummer for their fall migration. Those babies born in the spring are mostly grown by fall. Geese, they molt a few weeks before they head south, growing those new feathers that help insulate their bodies from the winter cold. And one interesting fact you might not expect, depending on weather conditions and the brightness of the moon, geese will fly at night. All right, we love the changing leaves here at the National Weather Desk, but there is not much time left in some places for that great fall color. So let's take to the skies now and look at some of the beautiful fall colors.
Well, a very happy Friday. The Great Lakes and Midwest region are in pretty good shape as high pressure keeping a large chunk of the U.S. dry. Temps range a little bit, so you can see Wichita, we're in those upper 80s. Milwaukee, we're in the 70s. Then you head into the Ohio area, still in the 60s for today. Next chance for a weather maker going to return probably after the weekend. Most of us are dry except far up north in Bismarck. You can see a little bit of rain. Best chance for showers returns about Monday, Tuesday, and into the middle of the week.
Good morning. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia. Here's a look at your regional weather. A little extra Gulf moisture, and look what happens. We get pretty warm out here from the 60s to the 50s. 147 showing up out at Little Rock early this morning. We won't see much on the maps today. Just a weak little trough moving out across the area. Stronger moisture comes in. That means we're looking at a pretty warm day coming up. Summer is returning from Texas all the way into Oklahoma. I'm meteorologist Alex Garcia, and that's a look at your regional weather.
Well, hi there and happy Friday to you, everybody. I'm meteorologist Shannon O'Donnell. What a huge difference from the beginning of the week in the Pacific Northwest. Seattle was nearly 90 for a record breaker on Sunday, low 50s with the first October storm of the season finally visiting the Northwest today. Still back to about 90 in Phoenix, a perfect 75 out of San Diego. This area of low pressure, this associated front dropping into California and Nevada by Friday evening. And that's the scene from here.
Another big weekend of college and NFL football is here. Every week, we like to show you how the weather could impact some of the weekend's biggest games. Meteorologist Katie Morgan is in Nashville with our Friday football forecast.
UCLA is in town taking on Oregon here. K-State taking on TSU. Temperatures looking good. We'll be in the upper 70s for a nighttime kickoff. And Iowa in town at the Shoe. Ohio State, mainly sunny skies and 68 degrees. Couple of our NFL matchups this week include the Chiefs taking on the 49ers. Good in San Francisco at 62. 72 in Denver. That's where the Jets are in town taking on the Broncos. And the Packers in D.C. Lots of sunshine here. We'll see those temperatures in the mid-60s. I'm meteorologist Katie Morgan, and I hope you have a great weekend.
And don't forget, you can find us on all of your favorite social media platforms. Just search the National Weather Desk. And of course, we've got a lot more content coming up. We'll be right back after this short break. Thanks for spending your morning with the National Weather Desk. I'm meteorologist Veronica Johnson. Have a wonderful weekend. Do something great for yourself. And, as always, keep an eye on the sky.